As I transition into my annual address, welcome everyone to our 2020 annual meeting. I never thought in my wildest dreams that I'd be kicking off our annual meeting by giving my address to you virtually. I'm sure many county farm bureau boards never imagined having to face the challenge of moving forward during COVID either. I'm proud of you for your creativity to successfully hold county annuals and other types of events. The day can't come quick enough when we can return to face-to-face discussions. This pandemic will pass, but until then, we will take all the necessary precautions to assure all of our members and employees are safe and comfortable. The theme of this year's meeting is Building for the Future, which seems very fitting with all that we've been through this year. We started out the year with optimism, eager to put the challenges of last fall behind us. We were able to host Secretary of Agriculture Sonny Perdue multiple times in our state this year, and we were able to showcase our dairy farms, blueberry operations, and much more. We logged a win for farm siting GAMPs. The Water Policy Task Force accomplishments are to be commended. It was a breath of fresh air to hear the President make agriculture a priority during trade negotiations with China, Japan, Canada, and Mexico. Yes, we were put in a tough spot when agricultural products were retaliated against when tariffs were imposed on steel and aluminum. But we stuck together. To the surprise of many in our country, they couldn't figure out why there wasn't an uprising. We recognized the game that was being played. We had seen it before on our farms on a daily basis. We also saw how this was affecting our local communities and that we needed to fight for them too. We were all in this together. At our Lansing Legislative Seminar, we were able to host a couple of special guests, Vice President Pence and Secretary of Agriculture Perdue. That was quite an honor to have them in attendance and to spend that much time with our seminar attendees. No other guests were allowed. Backstage, Vice President Pence stated, "This is great. This is what I enjoy doing." So many members came up to me and asked, "How do we pull this off?" I first said, if you don't ask, you will never get the opportunity. Much like if we don't ask someone to become a member and get involved in our organization. Sometimes all you need to do is ask. Shortly after came Washington Legislative Seminar, where we had another great meeting, but something was different. COVID-19 was sprung upon us. As we concluded meetings and events in DC, things were literally being shut down behind us. Our lives changed. The world changed. The building for the future stopped. There was panic, and people were scared. But agriculture knew what we needed to continue to do: produce food. Soon, the governor declared a state of emergency, and using the laws we had, she took control. March 13th was her first executive order, and as of October 1st, the number was 191. They came fast and furious, with confusion on many of them. We were left scratching our heads trying to understand the rationale behind each one. When the executive order was announced to shut down greenhouses, nurseries, and landscapers, that was the last straw. The timing could not have been worse. With product ready to be shipped to consumers, why didn't she at least give growers the option to show that they could abide by the rules? That's when your organization responded with an action alert. We had 56,000 responses over the course of a couple weeks. That response was 33 times bigger than any previous action request. We were able to call out the flaws in the EO and make accommodations for producers to sell their products and get back to work in the fields. This showed the strength and unity in agriculture and the role Farm Bureau played. I'm extremely proud of our members for how they handled this issue and the many more to come. When Eagle issued a new NPDES permit that largely ignored livestock industry recommendations and the most basic agronomic standards, we heard from many of our members. Their concern? The potential implications of Eagle's unrealistic permit requirements was just the first step towards more overly burdensome regulations impacting all of Michigan agriculture, livestock and crop operations alike. Regardless of farm size and regardless of whether we're talking manure or commercial fertilizer, the threat is real. Members said, enough is enough. It was time to stand up, and that's just what we have done. With broad industry support, we helped our members organize and file a lawsuit in June, challenging the new permit. And speaking of litigation, when the Department of Health and Human Services mandated testing of farm workers, your organization responded to concerns from members and farm workers, helping them to organize and file suit citing civil rights concerns and discrimination. Even though farmers and farm workers knew they faced an uphill battle and ultimately lost their case, they knew their organization stood behind them in their efforts. It's another great example of how your organization is constantly working for you and for Michigan agriculture. Our insurance company also felt the impact of COVID. Businesses were being shut down, including ours. We normally have approximately 700 people working from our home office. Thankfully, we had a plan in place to provide them the tools to be able to work remotely. I doubt we will ever go back to the pre-pandemic numbers. Our business has changed forever, but our productivity and our mission have not. Many businesses were left scrambling on what to do. Restaurants were especially feeling the repercussions. Since many of those restaurants were our customers, we felt we needed to do something. With fewer cars on the roads, fewer accidents, the insurance company felt the impact. We decided to find a way to give back to our communities. Farm Bureau Insurance created a statewide We're in This Together initiative to give back to members and insureds. Everyone got involved, management, agents, and members. The testimonials came pouring in on how we helped them through a very tough time with no strings attached. Throughout the initiative, Farm Bureau pledged to continually evaluate impact of members and insured and act accordingly. Michigan Farm Bureau family of companies also launched the Million Meal Challenge with a goal of donating 1 million meals to the 7 regional food banks throughout Michigan. This campaign brought together Farm Bureau agents, members, insureds, and staff to raise money for families in need. The 1-week campaign raised more than $183,000. With each dollar equating to 6 meals, this means more than 1.1 million meals will be provided to Michigan children and families as the pandemic wears on. Now, we provided another phase of this initiative by giving back $8 million in premium credits to personal auto policyholders across the state. As you know, yesterday was Election Day. The results reflect on successes and change. It's certainly been a memorable election for agriculture, with candidates and their supporters spending a lot of time on farms to understand the needs of farmers and rural communities. I think it's important to note that 66 of our 77 AgriPAC endorsed candidates made it through the primary election. And while the final results still aren't known in Michigan's U.S. Senate race and the U.S. presidential race, we're pleased to see so many of our endorsed Friends of Agriculture succeed in their election to Congress and the state legislature and beyond. I'm also happy to report that the Proposal 1 ballot initiative, which this organization supported, was approved with an overwhelming 80% approval margin. Now, Proposal 1 will not allow revenue in the State Park Endowment Fund to be spent on park operations and maintenance. Rather, that being limited to purchases of additional public property. And the final official election results are announced, and we will face additional challenges and opportunities to assist those newly elected to office to understand agriculture. But Farm Bureau will always be there for our members. This past year, we have witnessed the importance and need for this organization to ensure agriculture's future successes. Others are clearly seeing the need for the organization too. We've had quite a successful membership year. We hit statewide membership target for the first time since 2012. This means that for the first time in 8 years, we grew in regular members. And the future does hold promises of brighter days. Exports are rising to China. President Trump discontinued the small refineries waiver. We are having a fall that makes harvest a joy. And Lisa and I are proud grandparents for the first time. Blessings, like new grandchildren, are great reminders that we all have so much to be grateful for. As an organization, we're so thankful for you, the volunteers and county leaders who stepped up to the plate in big ways in 2020 to make a difference for agriculture in your communities. It has been a year unlike any other, but I have no doubt we will continue to build for the future and build a strong future together. As Albert Einstein said, learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. Thank you.